Good time zone. Welcome. We are going to draft Dominaria again today. I'm loving Dominaria's return. It has very little collection building value because it only builds towards historic, but we have a lot of resources on our free-to-play account here, so we're going to do what we want to do and draft, or at least do what I want to do, and draft Dominaria. I didn't even put it to chat vote. I usually let chat decide, but I'm not done with Dominaria yet that I'm even going to let chat have the vote back yet. And we are going to dive in for some more Dominaria, despite the lack of relevant collection building, and we have the goal to do it. If you want to do some relevant collection building for like Commander, for Modern, for Standard, for this new Pioneer format that everyone's trying to break, you can certainly get what you need for your physical game at cardkingdom.com, and please check them out from my panels down below. If you go to visit them from my panels, they know you came from my stream, and that really helps support me. And if you discover something that Card Kingdom wins on in terms of price, availability, inventory, whatever, give them a shot. Do it from my link, and you can help out this stream, and you'll be so happy with the service you get and the how your expectations will be met or exceeded by your interactions with Card Kingdom. So check them out, and let's jump in. History of Benalia is pretty good collection building. We have one History of Benalia. Wouldn't mind a second. And there's nothing really here that I think, this is a really weak pack. Dionysus, what are you asking? How many gems minimum do you want to keep when buying packs for Theros? We're not going to settle down, Dionysus. 5K. We're not going to dump 20,000 gems into Theros. No. We're going to keep a nice cushion. I'm just saying we might. Dionysus, I want to continue to lead by example on how I would approach working with those kinds of resources. And for me, it will not be about just dumping in and ripping open packs. It's going to be about need. Is there a deck we're trying to build that we need wild cards or Theros cards for? So. Well, Buckeye, Dionysus is talking about the fact that I said that our gems are so healthy we could get to a point, if we felt like our system was, and our win rate is consistently pushing our gems up, there does come a point where we can say, all right, look, we're going to spend gems on actual boosters, on just the constructed side of the latest set, because we have the resources to do so. Dionysus, given his level of impatience, is not surprising. He wants to just on day one sink 20,000 gems into Theros packs. No, that's not how we're doing that. What I'm saying is, if we are out of resources to create the deck we want to have, this account can justify expenditures on booster packs to acquire wild cards to specifically build a deck. But I am never on this account going to just dump a gem load into a ton of packs for a set just to open them. Yeah, Raptor calls out. I was going to say that too, Raptor. Raptor said, I'd say that if you want to spew it into sealed for the first 2 days. Yes, so that's a great point, Raptor, that like what our gems may represent is that we now have the cushion to actually play sealed from our main account early on and collection build. But what I'll have to do is figure out if I would recommend that for someone without as healthy of a gem count, which I still think is no, but its collection building potential is good. Anyway, I'm going to take history here. There's a chance we end up in white and play it, but this is mainly I think this is a collection building play. It's a good card to have. Yeah, it's a good mythic. We're not dumping anything, Dionysus. You need to go back and listen to what I actually said, and then ask a question that shows me you actually listened to what I said. Elfame Druid is good. The ramp is decent, but the kick ramp is quite excellent. But I'm a little more into the divination here than any of the green. Divination is what makes this format run in many ways. But you can go either of these. This is a great creature, though. I'm not super in love with kind of the mid-rangey green creatures, but this goes above those. This goes over the top and is like this. Is a really great threat. So I'm torn. I guess I'll take an uncommon. I'll take the Kavu. Kavu is a really great threat. Here we could take Blessed Light or Fungal Infection. Given the start of the Kavu, I start to then think about being base green and the ability to play Grow from the Ashes and play several other things. I'm completely uninterested in Baird because I really want to get out of white, frankly. I mean, if I'm taking a white card here, it's Blessed Light, which is very splashable in a base green deck. Fungal Infection is good, but maybe not quite good enough here, and we might wheel it. We might wheel Befuddle. These are cards that I hope to wheel. Animus has underperformed consistently, but it is not unplayable. I will play an Ancient Animus, but it is not premium removal. It's pretty narrow in terms of what you feel like you can end up getting with it. But Blessed Light it's good removal. It's instant. It does take care of the occasional enchantment that's making your day bad. So we're going to take that. But I'm still not feeling necessarily white, despite having Blessed Light and Benalia in the pile. For example, here I like an Urgoros trying to wheel a Soul Salvage, and then we could be a green-black splash white. Get rid of this history is now where I'm thinking of things. Sapherd is also good. So we could take Sapherd to stay with the on color. I like Urgoros a bit better than Sapherd, but we do have this Kavu in the pile that we would like to play, and we can stay open here. This cuts green too, though. And bots, this is where, people are asking me, are bots good at reading signals or not? They are good at sending and receiving signals very early because they draft based on power early on, and it can really be relevant. If there's a bot downstream who has taken a good green card and we pass the Sapherd and they take it next, they'll lock into green and be blocking us on green in pack 2 all the way and not letting anything wheel. So there is a good argument given how strict bots are with signals to send one here. So I'm going to take the Sapherd. It was a pretty close pick, and that's a reasonable reason to take it there, like to cut it. And for similar reasons, I'm taking this Spider here. I love having a Spider in a green deck in this format. Very, very important defensive creature. If you're trying to go long and recur your value, this helps you do that against the flyers in the format, even the 4 power ones, which is what's so important. Omnivore. Probably want the Omnivore here over the rare. So this is not unplayable. It can kind of be a win condition if you're going super long. But it's a weird... It has one job, and that's like to win the game, and that's unfortunate. You'd kind of want... I like Omnivore more because it has the job of win the game. Like if we produce a bunch of Saprolings and this can attack as threatening as a 9/9 or whatever, then people need to start blocking and it can just win games that way. But it also does another job of coming down on 4 and like blocking or whatever. So Awakening can be tempting because it has a big splashy effect, but it really does one job, and that I don't like it for that. So we're gonna take Omnivore and see, maybe we'll still wheel that Soul Salvage we were hoping to out of that earlier pack. Confessor, I don't like as a 4-drop. I've expressed that. I almost never play them. I would rather take a flyer on a Snapper or even the Candle here. You can even take like a Knight of the Nubenalia in case we end up white. I should do that. Like the Candle is okay, but it's not very good. And there is still this possibility we just can't avoid white. Like we open if we open a Lyra pack 2 pick 1, I'll really wish I had taken a Knight of Nubenalia. Whereas the loss of a Candle is just like no big deal. Similarly, I could take a charge in case we end up in a go wide Saproling, a white-green Saproling, and there's no real... I guess we'll take a Jousting Lance instead, though. This would be decent in any of these Abzan colors. Basically, Jousting Lance on Saprolings is a pretty decent way to make Saprolings a threat. But generally, I think of this as a deck that's good against the decks I like to play and not good in them. But we'll take this here, and this continues to show my disdain for this Llanowar Scout. I try not to play these. Also try not to play this. I don't think it's good. It has a floor that's not embarrassing. It's kind of got that D+ floor. Maybe it's just a D floor, the D of 2/3 for 3. I think that's probably right? By limited resources standards, I think a 2/3 for 3 is probably a D+. And sometimes you need to run those because that's how your draft went. But in this case, if I'm going to run a D+, because that's how the draft went, it's going to be because we ended up in black and I needed a 2-drop from the Evangel. So I'm going to take that. I still feel like this draft has not gone well so far. We're very underpowered. And the only thing I'm pretty sure of is that we're blue. And that I kind of want to be blue-black. Sorry, I'm saying blue. I mean green. The reason I'm saying blue is because I have my mind on these blue cards, and that's what I'm thinking about, whether a blue card is actually correct here. But I don't think so. Like, Arcane Flight always tempts me to pick one of these up in case we need to do the Arcane Flight hexproof 4/5 thing. But I think Feral Abomination is decent enough as a shrug. Gotta play at 6-drop in black that we're going to take that. Yeah, sorry for confusing you with blue. The reason I was talking about it was because of the presence of pickable blue cards, and then I misspoke. Sorry about that. Guardians is more likely playable than any of these other three, so we'll grab it. But this draft has been... I was going to say, this draft has been weak, and then we get a very signally pick 12 Soul Salvage, and I feel very good about that. Because I actually like the thing that Feral Abomination does. The other one, like, what does it, trample or something? I actually like the Death Touch interaction, because a lot of times what happens if you have to play a 6-drop 5/5 is that they have to double block, and this does get a 2-for-1. What happens a lot with the 5/5 trample is that they have a 4/4 and a 3/3, and they double block, and you trade for one of them. So if I have to play one of these, I like to play the one that can 2-for-1 a 2 big thing double block. Yeah, we cut green pretty hard. Although it also means, like, we ran out of green, like green turned off. So I sure hope there's a green fire hose in pack 2, because I'm not expecting it heavily in pack 3. But the fact that we got now the bots don't value Soul Salvage heavily, but here's why I considered a pick 12 Soul Salvage signally. It's because while the bots don't value Soul Salvage heavily, the bots, once they settle into colors, they're going to take, well, I'm black, and here's a black card, so I'm going to take it. So when you see a very playable late card in your colors, it's a great sign on Arena, just because it means that no bot happened to be in that color nearby and said, shrug, I guess I'll take this one remaining card in that color. So it's a good sign for us that black should be open. Now, will black be in the packs? That's the question. Will black be in the packs, he said, and opens a Black Blade Reforged. With no good black, with terrible actual black in the pack. We'll take it. This is another, if you think a Jousting Lance is good on a Saproling, try putting a Black Blade. Say I never heard of ya, a rap burglar. Thank you, Goblins, for the sub. Try putting a Black Blade Reforged on a Saproling. Of course, you need 7 mana to do that, and that's no joke. Where is our... We have no legendary right now, right? I think we'll still take it. Because because the opportunity cost is so low, but we have nothing to put it on. I guess we could take Shauna. Yeah. Or we could take Courser. But I almost think I still... If we can pick up a legend or two, and if we're trying to go long anyway, to the point where we can just spend 7... What you can, you know, like, you've seen me play like that 7 mana, 7/7 can deal its damage as though it weren't blocked green creature, right? In a sense, Blackblade Reforged is like that creature. It's a little worse in that, you know, that other one has this inevitable evasion, but the fact that once you get to 7, you just start to have one of those types of, you know, a 7/7 permanently is pretty great. Yeah, it's like a Thorn Elemental that's worse at being like a Thorn Elemental, except it's endless, right? G-Pick, well played. He says if we pass Blackblade, we'll see 2 Slimefoots, so we'll probably want to pass it. Yeah, I'm going to take Blackblade especially because the opportunity cost is pretty low. It's like the Sap Herd or the Shauna or the Pegasus Courser in case we do want to lean back towards white. But then we see an Eldest Reborn, and that's a great... This is the kind of black hookup I want to get here. The Gorger's okay, but Eldest Reborn, unless you're facing Saprolings, even then... it just does enough that even if you're facing like Saprolings, you're pretty happy to run it out there. So we'll take pretty easy Eldest Reborn and keep looking here. No good green. Doesn't look like there's good green in the pack. There's Whisper. Whisper's interesting and is a legend and could just happen to wear Blackblade. I actually like Dark Bargain better than Whisper, but the presence of Blackblade and the fact that we're going to try and get ourselves into Saprolings makes me want to take Whisper. We're base green, and we can prioritize Saproling cards because that's where Whisper shines, is when you get it going with Saprolings. And so we have enough synergy going on that I'm going to take Whisper. But in the abstract, in a vacuum, if you said, Ryan, you get to start a draft with a Whisper or a Dark Bargain, I would probably just start with a Dark Bargain. And this is the type of Saproling card I'm talking about. Wouldn't mind a Memorial to Unity, but this is exactly where I want to head right now. Bunch of Garbo. I guess we'll take an Impulse over a Broken Bond. I like a Broken Bond, especially in best of 3, but I can take or leave it as a main deck. I will main deck one though if it's kind of like the best of the dregs. But we'll take an Impulse here. And maybe run it, maybe not. I do like one thing the Impulse does is it's kind of a low opportunity cost land creature. You know, it's that way to have an 18th-ish land in a deck in a format where, even though this is a mana hungry deck, I tend not to play 18 because of the presence of things like Adventurous Impulse and Ramp and other things that basically act like mana sources beyond the 17th. We could take an Ooze to just have a slight upgrade to something like an Evangel or a Colony at 2. Again, I really try not to play this card. I would rather have a random Ooze or this random Blood Tallow. Sometime, you know, maybe we do end up with lucky pack 3 Muldrotha or something, and we add blue, and then we're happy to have a Candle to cycle through. I'm going to take Candle, but I don't think that was a very important pick. This, a little bit more so. A lot of stuff we could go for here. The Bargain's appealing, the Unity's appealing, Salvage is appealing, and Phantom, a little bit less so, but not bad. But we're really talking about Bargain, Salvage, Memorial. And I think I want first Bargain. Yeah, there's probably some density of Historic that I'm happy to play that would make me feel good about playing that 4/2 for 4. But I have to really like it as an enchantment almost. And yeah, we're low on 4s, so I like the Bargain here. I've talked a lot about Divest this week. I find it acceptable at doing the job of helping a player with a good, clean, clear, powerful end game get to that end game. It's terrible as a top deck, but so is land. So when I take and play a Divest, it's all about the deck needing extra help in the early drops to make it to the end game. And then if you have the unfortunate result of drawing this during your end game, while not great, congratulations, you've made it to your end game. And you have you get to top deck a Divest that maybe not be useful. Another thing that really does matter, there's a lot of really expensive ways to get cards back. This is something that really happens with Divest. Oppo has 9 mana, and you think, 9 mana and no cards, this Divest is dead, right? Then they go Soul Salvage, spend 3 mana to get a 6-drop, or get like a 5-drop and a 4-drop back. They cast the 5-drop, and then you untap and Divest away the 4-drop. Like, people are doing so much recursion and spending so much of their mana at late games, sometimes Divest isn't even dead late. So there's a little side rant, or not rant, little pitch for the playability of Divest while not being great. Still has that job it can do. And we'll take it because I don't like Gift of Growth, or we can pick one of those up. Again, I'm trying to find things that we're trying to have an unbeatable end game, which we haven't quite crafted yet. Still working on that part, the unbeatable end game part. Still working on that. I guess maybe that's Blackblade. Is that our unbeatable end game? And so now we just want to make sure we can get there. And Divest helps us get to an unbeatable end game much better than a pump spell. I don't want a second one though. We'll take Animus here. And you can always pick up these growths. Here's another loathsome 4/2 for 4 that I will try to never play, and would probably rather have a Gift of Growth, but I guess I'll take a random 4-drop creature over a Gift of Growth here. I really don't want to play either. And here's a Scout. There are some scenarios where a Scout is playable, especially if we're trying to ramp to big mana for Blackblade. So I will take the Scout, but I still hope to not play it. I almost feel like Coldwater Snapper is the most likely to be played from these, but I'll take Excavation Elephant. I don't think we're splashing white, but we'll take an Elephant just in case over this Snapper. Although, man, Snapper with Blackblade is... Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to take the Snapper. Oh, here's another one. Well, sure. Maybe it'll be our thing. I don't think I've ever played 2 Feral Abominations. I suppose I would if you know, if desperate, you got to play what you got to play. Temporal Sundering. Now we need a creature planeswalker, right? Yeah, so Blackblade doesn't even turn on Sundering, so we're not going to take that. We can take Urgoros as where's Blackblade, and we like it. And there's nothing else going on here, so we can take a Shiv and Fire. But yeah, pretty easy Urgoros, actually. All right, pretty clear Eviscerate here. Happy to get some interaction finally. I don't know if this Onslaught will wheel. Probably not, but if we get some more Saprolings along the way in this wheels, that would be amazing. Another Blessed Light if we splash. Still haven't found, despite being in green, it's not like we found any tools to splash. No, the idea of the... Jikerman, the idea of the legendary sorceries is that you need someone to cast it. And as awesome as this legendary blade is, it cannot cast a spell. So yeah, we're going to get Eviscerate number 2 here over Dark Bargain. Suppose we could take the weak Envoy here as a Desperation Splash potential. Yeah, we'll take it. It's not good, but it may help us play this Blessed Light, which we could use at this point, because we're pretty underpowered, to be honest. Not liking what I'm seeing in terms of overall power level. We got some tools, though. We got some tools. We're not playing this, though. We can safely... And I think we're done with blue, too. And we got 27 cards, so we even have cuts to make. Actually, we're not playing this. Probably just a big old worm. One nice thing about the worm is that there is there's a couple of 5, you know, between Blood Tallow Candle and the red common that does 5 damage and the -5/-5 when you kick it by sacrificing your creature black spell. 6 toughness is positioned interestingly against some important common removal spells. But we have dumb beef, right? We have 6 drops. Although this is a better one, and we already have one of these too, right? I don't like a bunch of animuses, especially now that we have 2 eviscerate, so I'll take the big worm. Bargain or another whisper. We have 1 bargain. Let's cut this protector. Never playing that. Yeah, I get it. It's a dupe legend, though. Still, we can do some stuff. All right. I know. I just really like having the... I think the draw 2s are so important to making your decks go. I get it, David. I think it might be... but I do want to support... We're probably not playing the Lance. We're just going to go with the Black Blade. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go with Dark Bargain and probably play them both. Ooh, now we get another 4-drop. This is a little more on the 4-drop front than I'm hoping for, but we'll take the obvious choice there. Sad we didn't get just a little bit more Saproling love. Yeah, you can self-sack Whisper. Whisper is very dedicated to the Demon Lord or whatever. Windgrace is Dees with the Soul Salvage and the Whisper. So yeah, take a Windgrace, play that. The 4-drops in black that I don't like, we'll take the Paladin because kicker creatures do not reanimate well, so we'll take the Paladin in case we have to play that. Here's an Ooze that represents an upgrade at our 2-drops if we want an upgrade there. And so sad that that represents an upgrade, but it does. We have a 1 Spider. We could main deck a Pierce, but we have a couple of Eviscerates, so I'm going to try and survive on those, and we'll take and probably actually not play a 3rd Dark Bargain. I guess if we're not playing a 3rd Dark Bargain, I might as well take some Vault Progress. I don't think we'll play it. I really don't like the setback of not colored land. I think of yesterday, like how many times did we go mountain, mountain, mountain in our blue-red deck or whatever, and it was really rough, and we were really looking for that blue source, and how bad in that spot is it to draw a void, or seeing mountain, mountain, void as your opening lands. It's like, yeah, you do get the scry, but oh my god, I wish that were my other color or whatever. So I'm taking it for the progress, not for the play. Charge, I don't think we're playing either, although I guess maybe we take a 2nd Rat Colony in case we wanted to make those our 2-drops. In case we need a couple 2-drops and we think, hey, rather have a possible 3-1 than 2-2. Yeah, we did not quite hit the synergy pieces I would have liked to see with this deck, but it's got some tools and it's got some cuts. So let's see what we're cutting. Let's try to cut the stuff we just really don't like and see what it looks like at that point. Guardians, we could justify on the strength of the Eldest Reborn bounce. Is there anything else that we're happy to bounce because it happens to be historic? Not really, no. Oh yeah, let's get rid of Cabal. Thank you. Where does that put us numbers wise? And this is 12, 13. Kind of want to cut an Abomination. That makes me want to not go much lower on any given creature. I guess we have we do have the Envoy, and we're probably playing it just to play out 3s, but yeah, probably still cutting the Blessed Light. No need to tax our mana that way. And given that we're playing Blackblade Reforged, maybe this is where I grudgingly play the Scout as a 2-drop. But this is 40. Not a lot going on, and this is why I like a divest here, because we're pretty blank here. When we could go with a ooze instead of a divest. It's pretty narrow. The worm dodges all that 5 toughness based removal I was talking about, but the Abomination tends to demand a 2-for-1 double block if it's not killed with removal. So it's pretty low. That's why I haven't put it in yet. GPIC says, what are the odds you get the lands fast enough that the elf actually accelerates you? And the answer is very low. That's my problem with it. People play it, and I almost never see it actually accelerate via faster land drops. And also, even if it does accelerate, let's say like, haha, we got a little flooded early. We had like 4 or 5 lands, and we got to put one of those 4 or 5 lands out. Still doesn't matter if like we still didn't reach our 7th land until turn 9 or whatever, right? Jackerman says Death Touch on a 5/5 is redundant. It's not. That's what I was saying is, like, if they don't kill it with removal and they don't have a big thing of their own, they often need to 2-for-1 themselves to not just get run over by this thing. So some percentage of the time, the Abomination causes a 2-for-1 in a way that Primordial Worm does not. But Primordial Worm often does just by having 7 power and requiring a double block. So you need 8 toughness on a double block against the Primordial Worm to make it a 1-for-1. Lance, is the Lance worth it? I would rather get more creatures in. Like, I put this ooze in and I kind of like it because if we're running this Blackblade, we just need to make sure we have targets. I almost want to cut the Blood Tallow Candle and run yet another, either put the Divest back in or put in an Evangel, just putting in some dorky 2s. Yeah, Lance does combo with the Abomination nicely. You're right. Yeah, it does. We could do, like, we cut Candle and Worm and went Abomination, Lance. Yeah, we're 12 creatures plus Sapperling Migration and Impulse. So even though the number is 12, we're at a virtual 14-ish. And you could argue this is a virtual 15th. So, we could throw in, maybe there's one more. Maybe we could even cut like an Ancient Animus. What are our worst spells? It's like Jousting Lance. I'm counting this as a creature, so I'm not going to pull it as one of our weak spells, even though it kind of is. Yeah, I don't see any other spell I want to cut. Yeah, most of them do, but we can play a Kavu if we desperately have to, or Migration if we desperately have to. That's why I liked the Divest, that it did the job of helping us get to our late game by being castable on 1, 2, 3 range and really disrupting Oppo. But yeah, let's try this. Let's get going. Weird that it's 9 swamps. I guess we have some double, but all of our early is green, so I want to swap that. Do that. And what do we call this? Black. Banana has a point. I didn't add an early black card, so we're good. Yeah. Yeah, we could do an 18th land as well. But again, Adventurous Impulse is kind of like land 18. And it's kind of like creature 15 or whatever. So I'm going to go with this. I'm just trying to find a decent name now. I had a terrible name yesterday and I couldn't even use it. Let's call this... for now, the blade itself. Any fans out there? Joe Abercrombie. Get all this updated record. Solid. Sapherd is a nice 3. Doesn't look like we're going to get on board before 3, but this is a fine 3 to get on board with. 2 blockers if you need them. Don't like being on the draw with 3 as the first play, but we'll see if we get aggroed or not. If they are not aggro, this is even better. If they are aggro, we're still okay. Yeah, and we still have a couple draws to find a 2, and Oppo has mulled. Found a 4th land for Dark Bargain, so now we're pretty much on the train here. We got a clean 3, 4, 5, 6 all set up. We could go with a 2, but it doesn't even get through what they're doing, and what they're doing isn't aggro, so we're definitely not going to play this Kavu. We have Adventurous Impulse, Black Blade, Jousting Lance, Corrosive Ooze, Sapperling Migration, and Untamed Kavu as the only things we would ever consider playing on 2. We did luck into a 2-drop, but then we didn't even want to play it. Probably go with this 5 over the Windgrace at this point. They're heavy blue. We might get countered. Let's see if they go shields down. Yeah, I've had to play some gliders in my time. It's not the absolute worst, but you really want to be able to block in the format. So I'm not usually happy to play a glider. It's a little weird with an Arcanist too. This is a pretty aggro card, but again, I have indeed found myself running gliders, but not liking it. All blue so far. Is Oppo mono blue? Oh, are you gonna fill me up? Generally in this format, you want to self-mill against black unless you really think it's your win condition, unless you're trying to mill them out as a win condition. There's just soul salvage. You're just feeding soul salvages by targeting Oppo with mill. We could wait on Dark Bargain and Eviscerate, and maybe Eviscerate helps us better survive to the long game. We do have a double block on the Explorer, or we could also, eventually Urgaros and Windgrace. I guess I don't want Windgrace to trade with the Glider. I mean, it can't block. If we can survive, I guess one of the questions is, are we sitting here taking 2 from the Glider, or maybe we just want to kill the Glider and try and block on the ground? But yeah, I think we can take, given the presence of the bargain, let's go ahead and take another round of hit from the glider and try the double block on the Explorer. And then bargain plus the Windgrace gets us some life. Then we have Urgaros. We're really set up to turn the corner very shortly. Hoping we don't get countered, but I suppose if we get our Dark Bargain countered, it means we will resolve Kavu or Windgrace after that. We could get slightly blown out by Befuddle, but we're going to take that risk. I think it's actually kind of likely if a mono blue deck is, if they're mono blue, if they're not missing a color, if they're legit mono blue, you end up running a lot of stuff like Befuddle just to hit your playable count. So this could hurt. No, we can't. This is a sorcery, so we committed to the Dark Bargain with that play. It would have been an obvious just pass if this were an instant. But we are going to risk a Befuddle here. At least they use up their turn to do it. And they also clear the way for our work next turn. All right, now let's see if they have a counter spell they want to use on this. There's certainly a pause, so we need to keep that in mind if they don't counter it. Unwind and the untap, interesting. Well, I think I'll just go for the Kavu here. Make him have an answer to a big 5/5 Vigilance and counter this if they can. Catch up in this race pretty quick with the 5/5 Vigilant Trampler. Unwind is only marginally playable, but it's another one I have played. When you... And I actually actively like having unwinds in my board in best of 3. There are matchups that are so much about the non-creature spells and resolving them that you're absolutely happy to play a bad negate out of the board. But not really hoping to main deck it in best of 1. Canadian Bacon points out, I was talking about never target mill at a black player unless you are trying to win that way, because black has so many ways to recur creatures. But Canadian points out that, yeah, this is such a recursive heavy format. You've got the red kicker 6-drop, get a spell back. You've got green with the get a permanent back. You've got blue with the rare that we've had a bunch of times this week that gets spells back. So even white has excavator. So like literally every color has theoretically something that could punish you for milling them. Yeah, Spider looking pretty good here, right? It was talking about what an important card it is. We're going to attack with a Kavu and see if they can... They didn't answer the Kavu, so I assume they can't answer a Spider either. And that this is going to be tough for them. Awfully suspicious, but they only have 1 card left. If it is Befuddle, we don't even lose a creature. If it... What could it be? What does mono blue have that punishes a block here? I'm not sure, but I'm going to block the better flyer and make him have something. That's the thing you could do, I suppose. Oppo just throwing creatures away now. I'm not sure what's going on other than us cruising towards a win and trying to get out of gold where maybe... it kind of feels like they're scooping... They're slowly scooping here. We'll go Windgrace. You're sad about the Black Blade? Oh well. We couldn't do anything with it anyway. I guess we could eventually get it on Urgoros, but I'm happy to mill that. Alright, now we're just swinging away. We do have a couple creatures we could get. I'm just going to drop a boring 4/4. I don't think blue has any outs. I don't even think they have mass bounce or anything. Let's see. If they have bounce, it's still lethal. They can't, even if they have the bounce spell, it's lethal. I was getting there, Oppo. Just had to make sure there was no reason to eviscerate. That's true. Slynvoda is mass bounce. You got me. Baratheon. A little out of reach for them, but a legit blue mass bounce card in the set. Glider can't block, right, which is why I was doing, but like, let's say they had 4 mana, they could have technically had like 2 bounce spells and successfully blocked, and in that case I would have needed to play the eviscerate. A lot of rough decks in this format right now from people trying it for the first time or having early experiences with it. This is a rough keep, but with Oppo going first, I think I am going to keep. Gives us some extra time to draw the second land. In fact, I think has Ben S been playing Dominaria at all? I think he's more of a draw. He likes to draw in Dominaria, although you don't get to choose in best of 1, right? So no real choice, but just thinking about that. So I am going to keep, because where we're headed looks nice, but it's risky. If they go aggro and or we stumble and or we draw 6 drops instead of lands, Mabinap is not as greedy as me. I definitely shipped that on the play, by the way. That was only a draw keep, because we have all these draws to find land. But down to our last one, we had 3 draws to find a 3rd land, which felt very likely. All right. Woo! Played it close, and we still don't have our 4th land, but came through with the 3rd. Link is locked in at top right, but you can name a different spot, Tron, and I'll put it there. I have documented video evidence of me being punished. A little bit punished, but at least we have a play. Let's see, let's go. Space is pretty doable, right? Up here. Oppo attacked, did nothing. We are stuck and going for a probably won't work equip. I think I'm going to go for it on the Sap Herd, even though ostensibly we'd like to spread out where our power is. If what they're on right here is a kicked bounce spell, I'd rather have them bounce the thing that at least ETBs. Just so. And we didn't have anything else to do anyway, and we'll discard our biggest critter. Maybe we'll reborn it. right, found some land, maybe just in time. Do we want to spend this turn trying to eviscerate this surveyor? Note all the mana they kept up. I'm going to assume they're actually sitting on Syncopate here, and that we need to give them this Sap Herd, or perhaps an Omnivore. Yeah, let's give them Omnivore, because we have a backup Omnivore. And then hopefully this taps them out of counterspells, and we can eviscerate the Surveyor next turn. Potentially chump blocking their next attack if we need to. There is. What is it? There is some anti-punt command, actually. Now with Syncopate, yeah, it doesn't get to the graveyard, unfortunately, but I'm happy we saw that coming and did the right thing. Gas, that's it. Yeah. You do that. Are we chumping here? Might just need to wait and be able to try and trade for this excavator with this lance eventually. We're in a bit of a spot, though. We'll give it one more turn, though. It doesn't really matter if this Sapperling saves 3 damage now or next turn. And this gives us a chance now, because, for example, now we see, oh, we have to actually eviscerate this angel. We don't have time to eviscerate the surveyor. So we need to eviscerate the angel, chump the surveyor, maybe, probably, and then hope we find Windgrace Acolyte mana, or actually Guardian's mana, because then we can, like, block and eat the surveyor. So that's our plan. It's little known, Rocky. Somebody added it. Was it Nantuko? Probably Nantuko added it recently, but it's not something that's in common use around here. All right, Tron wants some weird science. You got it. Weird science. But back to this block. If we're not blocking here, what are we doing? We are hoping to get the Koilos down, dissuade further attacks, and eventually equip the Sapperling and actually have it trade with something real. Yeah, if we had the time, we could Eldest, and maybe the Eldest Guardian Eldest buys us that time. I think I'm gonna chump. It was a close call, though. It remains a close call there on exactly the best sequence towards winning. That obviously hurts a lot. And now we're gonna look for a land and then Sap Herd, and at least Sap Herd can chump and trade with a 2/2. Maybe we find a land here that somehow gets us out of this. If we go, yeah. If we reduce this board to 3/4, 1/3, and 2/2, then and don't take too much more damage. We only take 3 more damage to go to 3. Then Koilos, still not enough. So we'll see. What we need now is for Oppo to make the mistake of not attacking with everything. Or maybe if we play the Omnivore, maybe they only attack here. And then we go to 3 and then untap, and Sap Herd comes down plus Animus, and then we actually have a way to, yeah, we have a gain 3 coming with Acolyte. That's a good call. That could be very relevant. So the real question here is, do we end up in a better place playing Sap Herd and looking to trade and chump, or Omnivore looking to just dissuade Oppo from attacking with the small stuff. I'm going to try Omnivore. Oh, I'm dead on board with Omnivore. I had the fuse running out. Well, we'll see if they do it though. Yeah, now I guess I forced myself to force block here. Yeah, that was a bad play. I think that shows though that we were in pretty bad shape. We just got stuck on land a little too long, which is my keep. If we go back to the beginning of this game, I kept a 2-lander and we stalled just a little bit on land, and it looks like it's going to cost us dearly because we can't beat that. Yeah, Sapperd was correct, but we would have been annihilated by their follow-up play anyway. That fuse, it gets me. Maybe I should cut a... Maybe this is a 18-lander. We do have that adventure. Maybe we just cut the adventure card. Not the adventure. What is it? Maybe it was called. What is it called? I can't remember. It's called Adventurous Impulse. It did have adventure in it. The Impulse, maybe just straight up for a land is better. Sure would have liked it to be a land there. Yeah, this is much saner of a keep. One might call that a sneep. I didn't par pull this, but again, I think it's a medium example of a black-green deck. It's got some stuff going on, but doesn't have quite the oomph I'm looking for out of these decks. I feel like Dionysus just got back from the restroom and was like, I didn't even see it, but somebody said punt, so... we can go Whisper or Bargain. This is very suspicious. I kind of think whatever we do is going to get countered, so I'm going to wait and bargain at the end of their turn and deny them a Syncopate, if that's what they're on. They also didn't attack. I guess they didn't want to attack in there. Yeah, this really needed a Slimefoot, right? If this had one Slimefoot, I would feel pretty darn good about it, but it just doesn't have that closing legend power. I guess we have the sword, right? But yeah, we're not really doing. It's just sword's not. I would trade the sword for a Slimefoot in a heartbeat, for example. Oh wow, Oppo without the 4th land drop. So we'll see if they have the Syncopate here, but should be, if they do, we're good to resolve something next turn, and no pause at all. So we'll go with Lance and land over double land. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and Wind Grace here to fill up for both Whisper and Soul Salvage. This is more Soul Salvage than Whisper. Again, kicker creatures not so great with Whisper because you can't get the kicker out of them. Putting them back on the battlefield. Might just go Lance, equip to Acolyte, attack with Quasi-Dragon, and beat the mana-starved player down before they can recover. What are our alternatives? Alternatives include Lance and Whisper. Kicked Migration really helps the Whisper. Kind of like Lance Whisper this turn, then we can equip next turn and have this Whisper available. Lost our Black Blade again, unfortunately. Use the installment plan mode of Jousting Lance. Sorry, Oppo. Why do we play this game? Digging the Cardboard live. It is a nice tool. Just taking a look here. What can we do? 4, 5, 6. We have 7. We can go Guardians, Sap. We don't want to do that. I'm going to go for the equip play here. We could get that Kavu back. Nah, I'm just going to... I think this is the fastest way to get him dead. So let's do this. Equip and kick the Sapperlings. How do we do that? We don't have enough, right? Oh yeah, I could equip Sapherd and then they can both attack. Maybe that was a mistake. I was thinking of just equipping the evasive threat and clocking for 5 a turn. Because they have chumps on the ground. And this doesn't... Yeah. So I kind of like the... I like this play fine. Yeah, I'm just going to leave this. I think we're just going to play into their mana screw and try and close it out. Yes, because the sacrifice effect is a cost. Oh, no, I'm not sure. That's a great point. Maybe you have to target before you pay the costs. Again, I've only been playing 25 years. What, you think I know the rules? But now that I say it out loud, I think you have to target before you do anything like that. Like, yeah, we have to target before we sack. There you go. Tested it real time. Yeah, we're just gonna try and get there with an equipped Acolyte. In this case, we'll kick this, though. Well, we're gonna do Whisper, if anything, just to keep our Acolyte from being exiled. This puts it back in the graveyard, and Whisper can get it back in the air for us. Or we can just switch gears to Urgoros, or really both. I'm going to go ahead and equip. And let's see, is there an attack that makes sense? We send in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 4 blocks. They take a couple. We could attack if we just wanted to present lethal with Urgoros next turn for sure, but I'm going to take it a little bit. I don't want to suicide everything in. Yeah, we can just Whisper again and bring Acolyte back anyway and still have the lethal in the air. Good point. So we'll do that. We could have, they just chump though. I didn't see the point of putting the equipment on the Kavu because they would just chump. And it's got trample, sure, but they have 4 toughness, so... Oh yeah, also summoning sick, right? No, but that came back at the end. No, it was ready to go because we did that during their turn, right? I think I just like. I mean, they need to have something in the air. We have Whisper, get back another flyer, so they're dead if they don't have air force anyway. That just felt safer. Hey, we have one of those. We're just not playing it. See you, Resonator. Thanks for hanging while you could. Some say I never heard of ya. A rap burglar. Hey, Eric. Thanks for the resub. 8 months. Nice. This looks pretty good. Get Reforged on 2, Sappered on 3, Kavu on 5. See if we find something to do on 4. Well, there's something to do on 4, I suppose. Maybe we'll equip... we'll go Lance on 2 so that we can equip Lance on 4 as our plan for turn 4. Currently. You're boring. Oh, Rick, you were my Oppo. GG. Thank you. Or are you just saying I piloted that well? I'm not sure. If you were my opponent, Rick, GG. If not, if I'm misunderstanding... New plan for 4. Nice curve out going here. No attacks, though, and we're not going to... Well, they could syncopate here, but we don't have a play to get around... I guess we could equip if we were really afraid of syncopate. But I'll go ahead and let them take out the Omnivore if they have the old syncopate, because we have some good stuff coming up that I'm happy to resolve. Have one less counterspell in their hand. But it looks like they didn't have it anyway. Okay, just saying good job. Well, thanks, Rick. Thanks for hanging out, chatting, and joining us for this stream. Animus. We take out that Dean if we thought it was needed. We can also wait. I never heard of ya. A rap burglar. Thank you, Shoe Bear. Appreciate that. One thing going with Animus is it is an instant. So if we thought Naban was about to give Oppo some serious value, we could snap him off with the Animus. Also, with 6 mana on the horizon, although they don't have anything in the graveyard yet, so there's nothing to like double get back, even if they do Chronicler. So I think we just want to Kavu here after threatening with the Omnivore. Okay, I like that Befuddle gives us, you know, we already saw they didn't have a Syncopate, but now we don't have to worry about one of those double blue hard counters as we drop ourselves a big old 5/5 Vigilant Trample. When I was a boy, this was rare and you didn't get the Vigilance or the Trample. And you liked it. All right, that was pretty sweet. Hat tip Oppo. What'd they get? Sapherd and Omnivore. I still like our overall situation. We're gonna lance up the Kavu and start swinging with quite the beast here and have Animus ready. Could also snap it off while they're low, but I think they'll go for like a big Gitu Chronicler here or something, and we'll... Okay, they're going to mill us. Always appreciate that from Oppos. And not like we have counter spells, so of course they get that. Wouldn't mind more land with this Black Blade itching to get equipped somewhere. We could also just Animus now to help clear the board a bit, and that lets us do a spell next turn. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and Animus now. We got some stuff. We got some mana to spend here next. I don't want to like hold this up next turn. So let's get rid of the Dean. Make sure the Dean doesn't provide some sort of insurmountable value engine for our opponent. We have 5-drops we could play. We could Impulse, though, and just find land and still play a 5-drop. I'm going to do that, but after I attack. We can take Whisper, and then Whisper actually can get equipped by the Blade next turn. So we could just take the Legend instead. Could be a little different, little pivot, and because we could play it right now. And we even have like stuff in the yard we could get back if we wanted to. Yeah, I think we'll change gears here and go for the Whisper instead. Another Naban. Wow. Apparently, I killed the wrong creature because we just unlocked the usefulness of their Naban in hand. We haven't seen counters yet, so we're going to go for the equip Blackblade plan, see if it works. Oh, now suddenly they got counters? What is that pause about? What is that pause about? Smells like bounce, but I'm going to go ahead and create 2 huge creatures, and they can bounce the one they want to bounce. Still going to do the play. We could wait. We could, like, hold on Whisper. Yeah, it could be Befuddle. Befuddle would be pretty good for them. But we still have a 7 toughness and a 5 toughness, so I'm going to send them both. Befuddle is decent, but not amazing for them with this level of threat at their 6 life. And if it is the bounce spell, at least they don't have the mana to kick it, so they won't get a card out of it. And even though it takes some resetting here, we've put a lot of mana into the current these two current creatures. Yeah, so they gone -4, but the Kavu is still 3 power of first strike, so they got to put like everything on there to like kill it, and then they leave Whisper unblocked, you know. So it's not a great spot even with the Befuddle. Not a great spot for Oppo, that is. And to prove the point, well, I wonder if they're... Maybe they just felt like they needed to find... Maybe they have another Fire Fist Adept or something that would have gotten them out of it that they were going for. Yeah, maybe it's time to send Saps. But no, they would have just eaten it. Like, clearly they didn't even block the way I expected. We're just going to charge in again, though. You want to bargain ahead of attacks, see if we find something useful? What did I fail? Like, if we had bargained, we could have found what? Nothing that we could cast, that's the thing. So. Oops. Now I'll go ahead and send the sap. You might even get chewed up or something, but I think we want to cast Bargain after combat and try to find a land. If this even goes, I'm not sure what they have here. We'll find out. Yeah, Naru could be a sudden problem. Soul Salvage makes me feel pretty good about our long game, even if they have something pretty surprising here. Take out those, and that and the other two are the same. And let's just make a mammoth spider. We put this lance on the sapperling and we have multiple lethals. 3 lethals. Yeah, they're done for. Well, at the bottom end of my 16-ounce coffee, probably be a bio break after this game. All right, definitely keepable. One of our weakest cards, but at least it's here when it's at its strongest, which is turn 2. I wouldn't go as far as forcing anything east, but I'm definitely looking at only a handful of archetypes that I'm interested in being in. So I want to be any combination of Sultai, or I want to be aggro wizards, or I want to be... You can be Jund Kicker Ramp. It's not the best, but you can do it. I've done black, white, kind of historic. But that's pretty rare. I've never really done mono red, but there are some value red decks that, like, Jund can be ramp value. You know, the Jund ramp deck is trying to, like, kick the, what's the red one? The red one, the red wizard that kicks for 6 total and gets you a spell back. That's what I'm thinking of. Chronologist? Chronicler. I knew Chron was in there somewhere. All right, nothing good to do on 3. We're certainly not running this Kavu out on 3. But we've got Eviscerates if there's something must kill on 4. Let's just pretend we thwarted their Syncopate anyway. And then next turn, if they continue to hold up mana, we get Dark Bargain. All right. I don't think that's worth eviscerating. We're going to offer a trade, though. Trouble of keeping Ooze to block Trapper is just a fool's game, because then they play a historic spell and your Ooze is tapped anyway. The dog cat, Foxy. Oh, this doggy. I have it turned off. I'll pick my pet. Besides, this is their dog. It would just bark. It would just growl at us or whatever. Yeah, sure. We're trading Corrosive Ooze for Healing Grace. That's all right. Happy to trade Corrosive Ooze for any full card they have got. And then we'll Dark Bargain on their turn if they have the counters for it. Too bad. But then we get a sure thing Untamed Kavu on 5, which I like. Oh, you can turn off pets. Like, if you don't want the... Because if you have the pet stuff turned on, when I click the fox, like, Oppo sees it. If you don't want to see Oppo messing with their pets, you turn it off, which is what I have off. I got enough going on, D, without pets distracting me. Yeah, probably a counter here, but I welcome it. I welcome trading Dark Bargain for a counter so we can land a Kavu. Or we just get it both. Okay, I'm down with that too. With another forest, we'll take Swamp Lance. We could go Windgrace on 5 instead of Untamed if we wanted to do that. Actually, I'd rather the Windgrace not get countered because we have the Soul Salvage. If they have if they've got Syncopate, Untamed Kavu is gone for good. But if they have any other kind of counter, we can get Kavu back with Soul Salvage and hopefully resolve an Acolyte to further feed the Soul Salvage. So let's try this. If it's Syncopate, that's like our worst case, and it's not, you know, yeah. Again, not the absolute worst. We get to resolve our, hopefully resolve our Acolyte and get more salvage fodder. They're getting pretty aggro here and are continuing to leave up what amounts to possible counterspell mana, but we got to continue to try to play our spells. Eventually we start eviscerating our way out of this situation. All right, that landed, but they did show a pause, so we got to beware of that. Maybe they have a bounce spell here. Milled 3 lands, which I guess is good in terms of finding action, but I did want to get some Soul Salvage fodder, and we only have the Ooze, which is nothing much to speak of. They come up with an historic spell to tap our Acolyte. We're taking a big chunk of damage. The Acolyte getting us back to 15 helps on that front. Note, this is where this is why I don't like the Animus. Like, we're in a spot where we don't have an Animus, Ancient Animus, that can actually get us a 1-for-1 trade. With the Soul Salvage, though, I'm willing to try to get the Trapper here and trade for Tricks, possibly. If we trade for Trick, at least we have something else to get back with Soul Salvage. But if they have a good trick, okay, if like, let's say we traded for a trick instead of the Trapper, I definitely would have spent next turn eviscerating. We might have to anyway, but the fact that we just got the trade there is pretty good. What all can we do here? We have 7 total mana. 3 on Soul Salvage leaves us with 4, and we can follow with an Eviscerate or a Jousting. One of our creatures is... We could get the Ooze, and we could follow with Jousting and Ooze. And Ooze does trade with both of these, and I would rather trade... use creatures as removal than Eviscerates, especially on these if possible. So we're going to go Soul Salvage... Get our 2-yard creatures back. Or try. And resolve... Go for the Ooze first. Do they have another Syncopate? They got something. They've paused again. I continue to think it's like the Blink. I think we're going to get Blink. But we're at 13 life, and we got a Windgrace back in hand and 3 removal spells, so I'm feeling a little better about our spot. I don't want to hold up Animus, like... What's Animus going to do besides be a 2-for-1 against? I guess, but then we're just 2-for-1ing ourselves, even in response to Blink. I guess it fizzles their Blink, but I still don't like it. Yeah, that's fair, Mike, but I'm glad where we ended up. I'm going to block the thing that could conceivably get unblockable. 7 mana. This allows us to Omnivore and Animus successfully if we want. We can also, let's see, 7 mana, we can Omnivore equip, but then we're still just like trading here. We can also just eviscerate the 3/3, accept another 2 points, go to 6, and then do some stuff next turn. 4, 5, 6, 7. I like Omnivore, Animus, the Honor Guard, and then even trade off the Omnivore. That's fine. I like Omnivore because then we can trade for... We can Animus for the Honor Guard and then 1-for-1 for the Sentinel. It gives first strike on combat on our turn. Doesn't give it on defense, which is a design I love, by the way. I think that's a perfect thing to be doing with first strike in Magic overall, much less for the flavor of this particular card. I'm also going to... Well, we'll Animus on their upkeep, so before they get a card, but in the case that they happen to have a Syncopate somehow, some way here, which I don't think they do, we get them to use their mana on their turn instead of ours. No, I don't want to give them a draw. I think they don't have anything, so I want to kill it while I think they don't have anything. I mean, you could do it. It's a little greedy, right? But you know me. I respect the greed, Mike. I just feel like Eviscerate, Acolyte is such a safe hand that I just want to do the safe play out there. Wow, they're just giving us... I'm just going to Eviscerate and equip and go. Let's see if this Eviscerate works. Still showing pause. Not sure what they're doing. Maybe we're getting bounced here. I just keep feeling like... I guess if it's another one of these, they could get... We're at a high enough life total that I think we can attack. Yeah, it could be another 3/3 flash, but we can withstand that if it is. Yeah, it could be white pump. That's an interesting call. Now we get Windgrace, Blackblade, equip Blackblade next turn, so that's pretty awesome sauce. Let's start with Windgrace and attack, though, and then if they happen to have something and we decide we need to sack the Acolyte, we can. Oh, it could be that they have, like, the counter... The Unwind. This might get unwound, but if so, I think we're still winning this game, so I'm going to give it a try. But Unwind wouldn't have accounted for those pauses. I still don't know what the pauses are about. Yeah, Adamant Will doesn't make sense, or they could have saved the Sentinel, so there's I really don't understand what the pause is here, but we're going to go for it. All right. Who knows? Unless Oppo wants to come into chat and tell us, we may never know. Could be a full control thing, but usually full control creates a lot more pauses. Like full control puts all these pauses that don't exist in the regular flow, and you just see them chugging along, and they didn't do the chug along thing, so I don't think they were on full control. I am going to take a quick bio break. I'll be right back, and we'll see if we can't march to 3 more wins with this medium green-black deck. Be right back. Hey, y'all. People saying escape costs look high. Is that what you're talking about, Queen? Flashback stuff tends to look more expensive, like too expensive, but then if it's at all grindy, if there's any kind of long game play to the format, they become incredible. We're gonna mulligan this though. I don't like what I'm seeing here. We'll keep this, ditch the abomination, and be pretty happy with what we're seeing as far as a 6 goes. Oh, you mean like exiling that many cards? Yeah, you only have so many times of exiling a chunk of cards out of your yard, right? If you meant that cost and not mana cost. Looking for land. Found some. Drop a blade. See if we can get it to do work eventually. 3/5 drops is not where you want to be on a mold of 6, but maybe because now we need everything. We need action and land. But hey, I guess if I had to choose, I'd choose land. So let's keep that up. Hey, it's a turn 2 scout. Let's see if they get ramp out of it. This is the like sometimes they get a turn 2 scout and it actually ramps. It's so exciting. I love figuring out if the scout is actually going to ramp somebody. It's so rare. It's like... No! Oh, almost! Almost! I mean, this is an amazing play, and we may be in a bit of trouble, but I think it's hilarious that, nope, Scout still didn't ramp. What Scout's going to do is keep us from killing this champ with Reborn, or whatever they play here is. This is our problem. Got a couple of Eviscerates we could find. If we found one of our 2 copies of our Legend, we could drop that and hope just to equip Blackblade for security. We'll definitely have to take another hit here. We could win Grace to gain life, but then they have good attacks here, so we're going to play Spider. At least try to hold off the other stuff, get a Win Grace Accolade out, and threaten a double block. If they have fighting stuff, if they have removal, yeah, that's rough. That's just rough. Animus, not usually a great spell, but in this case, probably going to kick our tires out to the point that we can't win, or kick our legs out. If we had eviscerated right there, we could have found a way, but I think that just basically does it. We have to Acolyte now, and I guess we don't have to chump. So we do have Acolyte, don't have to chump yet. Trouble is, we're at 5 life. We're now 8. It doesn't matter what good stuff we might get with Eldest Reborn if we don't have time to get there. Yeah, now we're dead. I would say mostly dead, but now we are literals just dead. GG Oppo, nice curve out. I continue to not respect that stupid scout that did nothing for you, and I never see it do anything for anybody, but everything else he did was quite nice. You gotta be, that's a heavy commitment to green too. So Oppo got rewarded there for committing heavily to green and drawing and getting that rare out on 3. Obviously that's that card at its best. Often what happens in a multicolored deck is that you're casting that as like a 5 or 6 drop. You know, Yeah, I feel you, Jikerman. I almost played it in this one, so yeah, I have played it before. I was just I just never see it do anything, and was curious if we would see it there, and we didn't. Well, this is an interesting 4, 5, 6, and if it has to be, this can be a 2. So let's keep and see if we're playing Kavu on 2 or not. May depend just on what kind of mana Oppo plays. If they go white or red, we might consider dropping this out. Yeah, red makes me want to play the Kavu on 2. But with nothing to do on 3, we can wait. We could wait. Nah, I'm just going to do it. Like, red is just generally pretty aggro, so I'm going to go ahead and play this as a 2-drop. Mike wants to wait. I'm doing it purely based on the mountain, Mike. I could have waited till 3 because we don't have anything for 3 yet, but this gives us an attack. It's something to do. And yeah, we have a soul salvage. We'll get this back later and make it a 5/5. Yeah, that's fair. Mike didn't want to give him a good target for the Shivan Fire. But again, I don't really care. Like, if that's what I really didn't want to do is be clever, wait, and then draw like a 3-drop or whatever and have Kavu and a 3-drop. I'm generally happy to 1-for-1 with a red opponent early on in the game in any way, shape, or form, is the bottom line. All right, we'll happily offer this trade, looking to eventually get our Kavu back. They don't even want to take it. Well, we're going to take it if they send it this way, but that makes me think maybe they got pump or something they're looking to try and win combat with. I see. They just wanted to get value out of their second Journey Mage. Yeah, Black Blade's basically our inevitability. It's our best late game close it out card. Guess we want Whisper and another bargain, binning the 6 for potential eventual reanimation, etc. Make another offer. Surely they're going to take this offer now, right? No! All right, all right. Well, we're going to go with Windgrace. Yeah, seeing these is unusual in red-green for sure. Unfortunately, we lost our big closer, but we have the tools here. I think we'll be fine. Yeah, you're right, Mike. I guess if they're looking to trade, they would be attacking. I guess I don't know why they're not. Well, swing for 6 now if you want, Oppo. Yeah, we could double block, that's true. Still is a 1-for-1. Apparently not. Good thing we didn't double block. There's our soul salvage to get everything back. If we play Urgaros, they have attacks. We play Soul Salvage, we don't have any other play, so I don't like that. I guess I'm going to go Urgaros and trade off with the Acolyte. So we're not going to attack. We're going to try and trade Acolyte for one of these Journey Mages. Then again, then we have the Soul Salvage, Whisper, Value Engine. We got a removal spell in hand if they unlock their land and find something nasty. Now if we get a land, maybe we do... Yeah, Dark Whisper, Soul Salvage. Soul Salvage something next turn. Another trick. Good one. Gets lots of damage through. Might be enough to threaten us into some other form of action here. We could just lose to another run amok. That would be pretty embarrassing. Dropping a game to a mana screwed red-green get to Journey Mage deck. Bizarre. So with 7 mana, if we Soul Salvage, we can't cast anything we get back from the graveyard other than a Kavu, which might be correct even, because we can at least, again, threaten to trade there. But then we've spent 3, 4, 5, and then we still don't have 2 mana we can spend elsewhere. Is there any... Which of these plays survives another run amok? If we get a 2/2 and block, they run amok and they trample and win. If we eviscerate and they run amok, they... Okay, we can't beat run amok, so we're not playing around it. So given that case, I think we salvage and eviscerate. Because then we can make a 5/5 that might just hold the ground. Get these 2 back. Or maybe maybe we need Windgrace for life gain. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Get Windgrace for life gain, and we'll get Urgaros back with Whisper later. Uh-oh. All right. Just gotta tip the cap. But I will take this matchup any day of the week. Jeff loves Carla. I'm glad you found love, Jeff. Wow, and just like that, we're out of it. 4-3, that's okay. I wanted better for that. I thought, well, we didn't love that deck, though. It was just okay, so maybe 4-3 is fair. I would presume, because if I were making that name, I would say Ryan loves Margaret. I wouldn't make the name Margaret loves Ryan. So that was just my own interpretation of how someone would approach that name in that context. All right. Not our best showing, but we'll take it. Let's open some packs too. And then I'll say farewell to YouTube for now. I wouldn't be, Robert, I wouldn't overplay that as a general heuristic. It was certainly what was going on in that game with this deck and everything, but in general, I think the more the takeaway is in Dominaria Limited, if you are looking to go long and you see mountains or anything aggro related, be ready to trade 1-for-1 for anything. You just want to trade 1-for-1 so that you can find then card draw and then continue trading, and then boom, you're ahead, right? I don't know if we'll draft again. I have some. Maybe we will. Maybe I'll just stay here and draft again. Sure. Yeah. Let's say goodbye to YouTube for now, though. I'll go to Soapbox. Thanks for hanging out, YouTubers. See you next draft.